A very good evening and thank you for joining GBS News at 9. My name is Susan Nganga and our sign language interpreter tonight is Paul Mathenge. We begin this bulletin tonight where former governors are once again in the spotlight tonight with mixed fortunes in the corridors of justice. From a collapsed plea bargain involving Migori Governor Okoth Obado to a major relief for Samburu's Moses Lenokulal and fresh charges against Kiambu's Ferdinand Waititu. Here's the latest on the legal battles of Kenya's former county chiefs. Much anticipated plea bargain deal between the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, and former Migori Governor Okoth Obado has collapsed. A meeting held on the October 30th at the ODPP offices ended in disagreement after the parties failed to reconcile differing legal interpretation of the proposed deal. The EACC reportedly rejected the plea agreement, opting instead for a full trial after objecting to terms that would have allowed the forfeiture of assets worth more than alleged stolen amounts. The case now moves to the Anti-Corruption Court, which will sit on December 8th to determine the next steps in the plea bargaining process. Meanwhile, there was relief for former Samburu Governor Moses Lenokulal after the High Court overturned his 8-year jail term in the 83 million Kenyan shilling corruption case. The court ruled that the prosecution had failed to provide credible evidence linking Lenokulal to the operations or profits of Oryx Service Station, the company at the heart of the fuel supply scandal in Samburu County. Lenokulal had been convicted in August 2024, becoming the first county chief jailed for graft under the 2010 Constitution. Today's ruling effectively quashes both his conviction and a 10-year ban from public office. And in Nairobi, former Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu is back in court, this time facing criminal charges over the remarks he made at a public rally in Ruiru Stadium on September 29, 2024. He is accused of offensive conduct under Section 94(1) of the Penal Code after investigators verified that his statements made in Kikuyu, while inflammatory and abusive, likely to provoke a breach of peace. Waititu's legal team sought to have the charges dismissed, but the court found them valid and procedurally sound. He was released on a personal bond, with the case now ongoing. The cabinet has approved sweeping reforms touching on infrastructure, land, diplomacy. Key among them is a new framework to standardize pricing for government projects to curb inflated costs and ensure value for money. Cabinet also waived penalties on land settlement loans, approved the dualling of the Muthaiga-Kiambu-Ndumberi Road, and gave a nod to a new wildlife corridor linking Nairobi National Park to surrounding conservancies. Kenya will also open new embassy in the Vatican, Denmark, and Vietnam. Let's take a listen.
Meeting at the State House in Nairobi, the cabinet, chaired by President William Ruto, approved a data-driven pricing system for infrastructure projects to promote transparency and reduce cost overruns. Cabinet also waived 12.3 billion Kenya shilling in penalties on land settlement loans, a relief to thousands of settlers who will now get title deeds and access to credit. On transport, the dualling of the Muthaiga-Kiambu-Ndumberi Road was approved to ease congestion and improve mobility between Nairobi and Kiambu. In conservation, the cabinet backed the Nairobi National Park, Athi, Kapiti Wildlife to Wildlife Corridor project to protect migratory routes to reduce human-wildlife conflict. And in diplomacy, Kenya will open new embassies in the Vatican City, Copenhagen, and Hanoi, deepening international partnerships and expanding the country's global presence. For GBS News at 9, I'm Paul M. Maina.
And now we go back to history. On 30th June 2023, a lorry carrying a shipping container went out of control and hit several vehicles, pedestrians and market traders on a road in Londiani Junction along the Nakuru Highway, killing around 55 people and injuring 30, making it one of the deadliest traffic collisions in Kenyan history. At least 3 people died in hospital, with the number possibly being even higher. Witnesses say the driver was trying to avoid a bus that had broken down on a rainy evening on the road. However, this didn't go unnoticed. Today, the government of Ireland, through their ambassador, launched a 30 million trauma facility at Londiani Hospital in a bid to help patients in the near future, and also dedicated to the families who lost their families and loved ones. Matthew Perez has this report.
Friday evening 30th June 2023.
Tumehuzunika sana kwa watu wetu wa bodaboda na watu wengi hapa wa biashara wamepoteza maisha yao.
2 years down the line, Kenyans will remember the harrowing, horrific and deadly accident at the Londiani Junction along the Nakuru Highway that claimed around 55 lives, leaving 30 others injured when a lorry carrying a shipping container veered off the road and plunged into several vehicles, pedestrians and market traders. The aftermath was so devastating.
Nikingoja tubadilishwe, then all of a sudden nikaona tu transist nilisikia tu simulio mkubwa and then transist ikarotate. Kenye mimi nilishtukia tu ni manini tu zikipepea Nissans, and then kajipata niko chini, watu wameaga wako huku na huku.
Tulisikia tu mlio gari ikakuja ikasukuma gari yenye tulikuwa nayo. Mimi ndio nilikuwa nimeangushwa chini kabisa, nikafunja dirisha hapo ndio nikatokezea hapo.
With all, not a thing goes inconspicuous. The Republic of Ireland, in its endeavor to strengthen its ties with the Kenyan people through its ambassador Kaitriona Ingosby, has been doing lots behind the scene since the fatal accident happened. Today they launched a trauma center in Londiani Hospital and dedicated it to the families who lost their loved ones.
It's called Living Hope, and it's dedicated to those who lost their lives and whose lives have been affected forever. Since that night, we've supported 47 orphans with education.
Costing a whopping 30 million Kenya shillings and named it Living Hope, this will definitely be a game changer subsequently.
It was a dark, dark time, and I think that's what drove us to make sure that it will never happen again. It's like 20 million and the equipment is 5 million. And yeah, we got a lot of donations as well. We got in-kind support in training, and we also got equipment donated. So probably the total value is close to 30 million.
Because from Londiani here, all the way to the Kericho Referral Hospital is close to 50 kilometers. And you don't imagine if we have an accident here, by the time we get to Kericho to rescue a patient, probably we lose that patient along the way.
All this being an exemplification of real infrastructure support.
And the addition of this wonderful new solar-powered, climate-smart, Living Hope Emergency and Trauma Centre is a further testimony to the power of vision, partnership and hard work, representing the next phase of a longer-term journey to strengthen trauma care capacity and to save lives.
Matthew Perez Adungo for GBS News.
Well, a step indeed in the right direction. And now on to the county news. Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru has defended a county government's handling of healthcare services following claims by Senator Kamau Murango that dialysis machines at Kerugoya County Referral Hospital were malfunctioning. Official county address, Governor Wiguru clarified that 3 machines are fully operational, while 2 others were temporarily withdrawn after reaching their maximum lifespan to ensure patient safety. She further announced the installation of new dialysis machines and plans to open additional units in Kianyaga and Sagana, aimed at decongesting the hospital and improving access to treatment. The governor also urged the national government to support local Moya rice farmers by purchasing stored and upcoming harvest, giving them priority in the sale of the Moya rice mills and halting rice importation until local produce is sold, emphasizing the importance of protecting agriculture and rural livelihoods.
We're here today to do the State of the County address, and we have addressed various achievements that we have done as a county government. Over the years, we have given the statistics and the data of the interventions, the results of the interventions that we've had in health, in agriculture, in water and sanitation, in environment, in trade and industry as well. And the numbers speak for themselves. Clearly, the work is productive. If we just look at basic indicators, most of the time government is accused of having initiatives that do not translate to economically empowering individuals. They don't feel it. But in Kirinyaga, we have given the statistics. For example, we have grown the rice income for our farmers from about 6 billion shillings to about over 15 billion shillings a year. The Moya rice mill, we are saying that, and we've said this before, I said this over a year ago, that when the prioritization is being done, priority should be given to the Moya farmers to purchase those government shares, so to be given to the Moya farmers before any other private individual is given a consideration. I think that would only be fair because this mill has been serviced by the sweat of Moya farmers. So I think that's that for now. Yeah, thank you. There have been numerous counties, over 10, who have come to Kirinyaga County to learn what we have done. Fully automating our health facilities, ensuring our hospitals are equipped, there is medicine, all that. Now, on the issue of dialysis machines, we all know that the dialysis machines were provided by the national government in the year 2017. And they have done their time because we service too many people. The hours that they're supposed to have done, most of our machines, there were 6 machines, 4 of them passed the 10,000 hours mark. And so we stopped using them. It is not that they're broken down. We stopped using them because we cannot guarantee the quality of service that.
And more on the counties. Members of Parliament from Siaya County have challenged Governor James Orengo to take decisive action against officials involved in an employment scandal that saw over 380 newly recruited health workers dismissed. Legislator Samuel Atandi and Elisha Odhiambo say the governor cannot claim innocent as long as the perpetrators remain unpunished, adding that the scandal left many families financially devastated. They urge the county government to discipline those responsible and restore the rights of the affected workers, emphasizing that the young members of parliament will continue to fight corruption and ensure accountability within Siaya County. The dismissed health workers had reported used forged documents, prompting an authentication exercise by the County Public Service Board, with Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission now overseeing the matter.
Question some politicians. The only thing they know how to do is to look at the speck on others' eyes. They don't want to look at the speck in their own eyes. If you know you are a leader, your work is not to poke your nose in the affairs of other leaders. Mimi right now, I'm not talking about being a leader. Because mimi najua mimi kazi yangu na I'm doing my work the way I'm supposed to do it. I am the chairman of budget and I'm bringing budget to the grassroots. I am bringing money to the grassroots. Sindio? We want leaders to focus on their work. If you are a truthful man, you must say speak truth. We have job seekers from Siaya County, our own sons. Because we want to caution him, please fire some people. We cannot have our 300 people money was taken from poor people. They were not given the jobs. And you are everywhere telling us how you know that. Which truth do you know when you cannot fire one of your staff who has eaten them, or unless you also ate the money?
We have a problem in Siaya. Nobody talks about it. But let me say, you cannot employ nurses and sack them. Let me talk for those nurses. Let's find out how to resolve the issue of nurses.
And with that, it is time for us to take a short break. Keep your feedback streaming into social media platforms at GBS TV Africa. The SMS line is always 21144. We'll be right back.
Jina ni Coach Martin Musili. I'm a coach, as I've stated. E-sport nilitambua since 2015-2016.
Kuna sports mingi man, but nili kutiga kwa fencing.
Kwa e-sport kuna kitele, kuna pesa kweli.
In as much as tunaiplay, tunaitumia pia kama life skills. Si shule peke yake, pia corporates. Na tunakuja tunafunza strategic thinking. It can create an avenue for a scholarship. If maybe anacheza shule, a scholarship. Maybe anaweza advertise ile corporate.
Nini imekukeep kwa game, like ni strategy gani unatumia, unafeel strategy ndio imenyekanga hapa, unafeel kupeleka mbali. Alafu utaniambia ni strategy gani imekumake unatumia as a player, ona ile strategy yangu inafanyanga na win game. Hata as a coach, ni strategy gani unaonanga hii nikitumia nasaidia player wangu kudefeat opponent wake. Requirements zangu ni nini? Nini nataka kwa fencer? What are the requirements?
All you have to be, as long as you can walk, you can move your arms, and you can think on your feet. You can fence.
Ili kujua mengi, jiunge nami Omala Brian kwenye GBS TV Sports Sugu Show. This is where passion meets the game.
Happy Friday, beautiful people. Welcome to the Blast Show. I will host the most, Irene Juguna.
Ndio nakwambia hapa live on the blast inakuaga ni show ya kukubamba. Tunakuletea what has been going on the week na zile mambo zinaendelea, na tunakupea vibe ya kuingia weekend.
Vitegeo, mbona kinya umechange jila. Washofeni hata kama wote na wachoma ila. Remember me kwenye rap bands ni paka kufa. With the best man, wakichonga wachonge na ziba nyufa. Acha nife kwenye love tu, maana wewe dawa njoo unipe tu. Nikichoka hasu unaninyosha nyosha, unanipanga panga kwenye bedi tu. Mapenzi yetu kayalinde hata kama wote watachonga tu. I'm an actor, nakuwa director pia.
Director wa acting ama. So acting na music unazimerge aje pamoja, na umeact which type of, ni movies ama drama ama series? Na ulijua aje like unaweza act, unaweza rap?
Nimeact ni short movie, ni love short movie. Nimeandika mimi, nikadirect mimi, nikacheza pia.
Hello kids, and welcome to Kids Mind, where we learn, we laugh, and we explore. Once upon a time, there lived this beautiful, kind, and humble lady named Esther. She lived with Mordecai for a very long time until she grew as big as me. Before Esther was not named Esther, her name was Hadassah. In our today's Bible story, I mentioned 5 characters. Who are they? Mordecai, King Xerxes, Esther, Haman, and Haggai. Esther represents me. Esther represents me.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back to the bulletin. And now, President William Ruto has praised the establishment of the International Trade Center First Regional Hub in Nairobi calling it a milestone that will connect East African producers and global markets and strengthen regional value chains. Speaking during the 25th East African Community MSMEs Trade Fair at Uhuru Gardens, the president said the new ITC office at the UN Gigiri complex affirms Kenya's position as a regional trade hub. He noted that the government is empowering MSMEs through affordable credit, training and market access, highlighting the Hustler Fund and county industrial parks as key initiatives driving innovation, job creation and inclusive economic growth. Let's take a look.
We launched the Financial Inclusion Fund, popularly known as the Hustler Fund, which has so far disbursed 80 billion Kenya shillings to many Kenyans since November 2022. The fund has provided dignified credit to those previously excluded from formal lending. Today, I am very confident and happy that the 7 million Kenyans have since transformed. Today, we have 2 million Kenyans who borrow religiously from the Hustler Fund. Today, we have close to 800,000 entrepreneurs, small businesses, that today borrow money on our bridge finance as part of the Hustler Fund. On the Hustler Fund, the only collateral being their credit record, that they are decent people and they can pay. It has expanded the collateral space. Today, the collateral space includes your credit rating, which comes as a result of you being able to pay your debts. Three fundamental things are important. I said earlier, access to credit. And we have moved several steps in making sure that we clear the pathway for access to credit. In the city of Nairobi alone, Governor Sakaja and your team, in the city of Nairobi alone, we will be looking for 6,000 enterprises, small business people, 6,000 of them. And we are going to give them 300 million shillings.
I encourage all of you to take a walk down the CBD, the Central Business District, from Jamia Mall to the buildings on Moy Avenue. You will find small traders selling different wares. Your Excellency, we have seen a growth of shopping centers across the estates, and these are home to small and medium-sized enterprises. Many of these, Your Excellency, are owned by young people. Not all of these young people can get jobs in the formal economy, and so there is need to actually provide a platform and an environment where MSMEs can thrive. Today, from the comfort of your mobile phone, wherever you are, you can actually register your business, describe the enterprise you're in, and print your own unified business permit in any part of the city or of the world.
United Nations Director General in Nairobi, Zainab Hawa, has thanked the Kenyan government for its strong support in hosting the International Trade Center's first regional hub in Nairobi. Speaking during the official opening at the United Nations Gigiri complex, Ms. Bagura said the move reflects Kenya's growing influence in regional and global trade. Principal Secretary for the State Department for MSMEs Development, Susan Mangeni, reaffirmed the government's commitment to empowering small and medium enterprises through training, financing, and expanded market access. The collaboration, she said, will boost innovation, create jobs, and strengthen Kenya's role as a hub for sustainable business growth across East Africa.
Today, in the morning, we had the Democratic Republic of Congo, who had their day-to-day. They also showcased their value chain. And then, of course, this afternoon was the EAC Day, which also now becomes the formal official opening ceremony for this. And we are happy that you created time to join us in celebrating this great value chain.
This morning, today, I had the honor and privilege to officially launch the newly established International Trade Center Regional Office in Nairobi.
It is the first time ever since the office was established in 1964 that they've had an office out of Geneva. Geneva is their headquarters. So the first office that they've ever established out of Geneva was in Nairobi today. So I think that's a great honor for us. I'd like to take this opportunity as the Director General and the representative of the Secretary General in Nairobi to appreciate and acknowledge with gratitude to you, Mr. President, the continued support and cooperation being extended to the growing UN family in Kenya by the host government of Kenya.
Deputy Secretary General of the East African Community, Annette, has highlighted significant progress in resolving non-tariff barriers within the region, noting that the process has now been reduced by 50%, making cross-border trade easier for businesses. Speaking during recent trade engagement, ICT Executive Director Pamela also offered condolences on the passing of former Prime Minister, reflecting on his call for Africa to avoid becoming entangled in proxy wars among foreign powers. Both leaders emphasized the importance of regional cooperation, stable trade frameworks, and peaceful diplomacy in fostering economic growth and resilience across East Africa.
The process of resolution of non-tariff barriers has reduced by 50%. While they still exist, but the mechanisms in place are supporting us to reduce non-tariff barriers. We have increased digital connectivity, and I wish to report that the governors of the central banks have now approved an EAC payment master plan, which master plan is going to facilitate cross-border movement of currencies across borders, facilitating the exchange and sale of goods among partner states as we await the rollout of a monetary union. Your Excellency, allow me on this note to thank the Republic of Kenya for all the facilitation that has been provided to the exhibitors through the various borders where they passed, including a delegation that just arrived yesterday and was very quickly facilitated. In less than 20 minutes, they were in and out of the border.
Before I begin, I'd like to express our condolences on the loss of Kenya's former Prime Minister, Raila Odinga. He was also a hero for the Caribbean, and as you know, he was a lover of Jamaica, from where I come, and so Jamaica Farewell went down very well when you started singing it, President. You know, we automatically said, oh, this is awesome. But thank you so much. As I was reflecting on his passing, I couldn't help but think of the statement that he made last year, that Africa could but must not be caught again in proxy wars between foreign powers. And those words are all the more prescient now as tariff escalations and trade wars threaten to tear not just the fabric of our multilateral trading system, but the relationships and trusts that have been built over generations. It's why the work that the EAC does and has been doing in partner states to deepen economic integration among the members is so urgent and so vital to the fates of MSMEs across the region, but also to the success of the African continental free trade.
And for sport lovers, it's time for your most favorite segment of the bulletin, the sports news. Let's get sporty. And for sports news, in Morocco's capital, Rabat, former football icon and former Liberian President George Weah is calling for a united stand to kick racism out of football. Speaking at FIFA's Players' Voice panel, urged fans and former players to join forces in making the game a symbol of unity and respect, not hate. The two-day session is part of FIFA's Global Stand Against Racism initiative, bringing together 16 football greats to advise on a stronger anti-racism measures. He says he plans to ask FIFA President Gianni to bring more voices on board, especially those who face discrimination firsthand. Among the legends joining him are Didier, Emmanuel and Mercy Akide, and pledging to make football a game that truly celebrates diversity and togetherness.
It's a disease. We cannot continue to condone racism
in a public space, most especially on the field, where everybody is supposed to be working together, enjoying together, and have fun. Enjoy the good of the game. And I'm glad I played this game, and I experienced every way, in every form, the behavior of different nationalities. Some come with love, some with hate, some are racist, some are not. But at the end of the day, what is important is to take away the negative part of sports, which is bullying players, fans against fans. Because the essence of the game is to unite, is to enjoy, and is to have fun, is to play, is to love the game. The more we are, the better it is. So after this meeting, I will propose to Mr. Infantino to bring on more people on board, because you have some players, ex-players, that people listen to too. So we all have to be involved. All of us have to be involved. Those that experience racism, they are still out there in the game. We need to bring them on board. We need to make sure that we get one voice.
And with that, we have come to the end of the news bulletin. It's always a pleasure having you on board. Let's do this again next time, same channel. My name is Susan Nganga, and our sign language interpreter tonight has been Paul Mathenge. Have a good night.
Everywhere, GBS.